Welcome to Traders of the Lost Charts. I'm your host, Sarah Ristaino. Today we will be talking to IdeaSoup about his trading journey. Traders of the Lost Charts is a Rocky Outcrop community podcast.
Spectacular results of the Ranger and Mariner missions, and the other.
He's a family man who enjoys the race.
IdeaSoup. Where does that come from? How did you get the idea for IdeaSoup?
I think it was a long time ago. I just couldn't come up with anything else. A bunch of ideas mixed together, you got a soup.
Literally an IdeaSoup.
Exactly.
How long ago did you make this profile, this Discord profile?
Oh, I think I started maybe around 2019, 2020. About the same time I started trading.
Were you looking for trading Discords?
No, I was interested in watching like free movies with other people and looking for like streaming sites and stuff like that. And then I just started using it more and more.
Okay. I didn't know that there were like communities dedicated to watching movies on Discord.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's, you can find anything, I guess, nowadays, even movies, trading, whatever you're into.
Yeah. So how did you find your way into the Rocky Outcrop Discord?
Well, from watching his videos,
Okay.
in 2020, 2021, got interested in trading. And of course I started with GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
And, that narrative, which drew me to it the most. I didn't really know about anything else going on about, its financials or the situation. I just, like video games. There's a local GameStop. And honestly, I got jealous of like my neighbors and stuff saying they're making all this money when I thought it was a big scam. So I had never really participated. I thought maybe that's something for people in suits in a faraway place in a really tall building. But
Right.
after that, in like 2021, just luckily looking for information about GameStop, the algorithm gave me, I think, Rocky and Jamie's videos. And from there, I wanted to know more and more.
Cool. They kind of draw you in, right? You don't really know what to expect. You're just looking for information. You don't know how deep it goes.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty apparent once I started listening. It sounded for the first time like someone who knew was like familiar with the information rather than like reading a brochure is what I felt like other people that are like probably not even around anymore. So many people started and it was, all hype and getting really excited, but there was not really any, conversation. I felt like I was like at a, at a pregame, but there was like no there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was apparently different immediately. And so I really enjoyed that.
I noticed the same thing. There were a couple different streamers I'd bounced around between, and it was basically all hype. And then you'd find a trade spotting stream, and it sounded like, oh wow, there's a lot of information there.
Yeah.
And yeah, nobody else was doing that.
Yeah, it seems it was almost like hearing a different language, like a kind of esoteric.
Yeah, I remember the first couple weeks listening to the trade spotting streams and having this sense that I was listening to someone speak in a different language, but somehow I understood what was being said without exactly comprehending all the details. And unfortunately, it was double confusing because I could only listen while I was at work and I drive for my job. So I wasn't able to look at the charts. So I had to piece it together later. But but if
That's a
you
great time to listen to things, but yeah, that would make it like a extra layer of difficulty.
yeah, I was just waiting for something to pop out at me as like, okay, that's an obvious sign to buy or that's an obvious sign to sell. And it doesn't exactly work like that. And
Yeah,
after a
not
while.
immediately.
Yeah, after a while I figured that out too. But yeah.
So are you still looking for that, or you found other ways?
I I think I'm always kind of looking for that. Um but I wouldn't say that I found other ways because I'm still at a very early stage of comprehension.
Same here.
Yeah. I don't know if you've taken the course at all. I feel like I should know this.
No, I did. I took
Because
the
I pinged you in the course section of the Discord. That's right.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
correct. I took the course, but,
Yeah.
I've nothing to show for it.
Mhm.
I was one of the people who, I got it. I was really excited, looked at what was there,
Mhm.
and waited as long as I could to get all the information. I know it's time, so I, like, skipped ahead, and then I was like, "Okay, I got it. Let me jump in." And
Right.
what do I do? Let me jump in with options. The very same thing that got me in trouble the first time. I thought, "Oh, this time's different," and it wasn't.
Oh, it
I don't have any,
wasn't?
homework to show, but I have been practicing, and, I've been trading for the past 3 months, every day, and passed successfully that, like, 90-90-90 saying. So I beat it so far.
Okay. Okay. What do you mean 90-90-90? I don't know if I've heard that.
I remember Jamie, a while ago, was talking about how, like, about 90% of new traders lose 90% of their money within 90 days of trading,
Okay.
and, I definitely met that. I added to that statistic a couple of times. This time around, after taking the course and actually doing the material, I, am successful and
Okay.
very far from that, but, I
So
still
you
kinda
beat
feel
the
like,
odds.
I beat the odds, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. How
It
many?
feels good, but I'm, like, kinda reluctant to say I'm a trader, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll say I'm a beginner.
Right. Well, isn't that interesting? The sort of identity, um, insecurity about like calling yourself a trader when like you're literally trading. I guess it's kind of that imposter syndrome people talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
That's part of my reluctance to tell people, that I am trading, if I don't make it again, I don't want that, "Oh, look, we told you to come back."
Uh
I don't want that to happen.
yeah. Yeah, I am hoping that we get to do a big face reveal for you one of these days. Like it was him all along. This idea soup is actually this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In the future, I, it was, part of my reluctance, I know how I felt in the beginning, uh, thinking things just go up. Like, you just hold it for a little bit and it's gonna go up eventually.
Right.
And, that's just, of when I started, a repercussion of when I started, and kinda learning bad habits. I would hate to, for someone not to understand, like, I'm okay with being wrong and, when we
Mhm.
can't communicate all the time, I really don't wanna tell somebody what to do, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. We were talking about the course earlier and you were saying that you really had nothing to show for it, but then you said you've been trading and you uh finally beat the 90-90-90 rule and you've made some good trades. Did I hear that right? So you are
Yeah,
getting better.
yeah, I making consistent profit to where I did not know that this was possible.
Okay. That's
But I will
interesting.
still be reluctant to say, I know what I'm doing. I feel like when I talk to others that have taken the course, I feel like I do not know all the parts like some others do.
Right. Well, there's just so much that you can learn about it. Um, I think you can learn enough so that you can trade and trade effectively. But then I guess the imposter syndrome sneaks in when you realize how much more there is that you could know.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's
Yeah.
like I'm grasping. I have the right tools. I would definitely say um, the biggest change in what happened was stopping options. But secondly, more importantly, was actually going through the course material and practicing it the way it was intended.
Mhm.
It seems like simple enough, like, okay, you've got definitions and stuff like that. But it's pretty clear. It's a pretty clear difference to just read through it and jump in than to actually take the time to practice and listen to what is really being said so you can apply it. Because
Mhm.
I think that has made the biggest difference. Trying to force myself to apply these things every day,
Yeah.
that made a huge difference for me.
Right. And the only way to really learn all those definitions is the practical application, right? So
Oh,
it
yeah.
really all comes back to spending time on the chart. And I've seen, groups of like other course members, meeting in voice chat and like talking about those things and explaining it to each other. So that seems like a really helpful thing too. Have you participated in those discussions? Do you feel like you've gotten a lot more out of it?
Oh, yeah, and at first, I would see, like, some people join 'em, like, "Oh, no," like, "I don't know enough to participate," "Maybe
Mhm.
I'll join next time." And after a couple times, I joined and didn't really say anything. So it's like
Yeah.
a fly in the wall, which is, like, a little more embarrassing, like but, everyone was welcoming, and it was like, "Oh, hey, we're talking about, the exact same things, and, we're all learning," so it was a huge help to bounce ideas off each other,
Mhm.
and, everyone that is showing up is like, they're getting after it. They are wanting to find out, uh, maybe this is happening and then look for reasons why. And then we'll find out real quick when things open the next day and we all taking a look and come back and talk about it later on. That has been a tremendous help to, you know, um, not get a second, not depend on others, but definitely, I can say I definitely have learned a lot. Um, Not just like a corrections or application, but just getting to talk with others about that are doing the same thing as it's like relieving. It's like
Mhm.
it's comforting because in real life, the times I try to share with other people, like they call me schizophrenic, but
Well, for real.
you can't look for patterns this way. It doesn't work that way. Like it's all and that to me, it did not make sense. If it is all math and there is logic and everyone's strats behind it, it's gonna show up eventually on the chart, and
Yeah.
that's gonna look a certain way.
And math people should know that math and patterns go hand in hand. Math
Yeah,
people are always, like, oh, look, this equation, you know, makes this fancy thing.
yeah, exactly. There's gotta be, maybe it's not as simple as drawing a diagonal line, but,
Right.
that's not what I expected it to be that easy anyway, so I'm fine. I'm fine with that, but
Mhm.
it's interesting how, like, there's like a big divide between like if you say technical analysis, like they think you are a genius or they think you know absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It's
There's
easy.
there's a dismissive type that
Yeah,
uh they're they're missing out on so like seriously valuable tools here. Um but I can see like technical analysis can be overwhelming at like to learn. So I could see it being real convenient to just dismiss it and say, there's nothing to this. Like,
Mhm.
it's just all chance, it's all gambling. And then you don't actually have to try very hard.
Yeah.
So I could see the appeal in that regard.
Yeah, I think I would fit into that, too, in the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought it would be I mean, like, it's arrogant to say I thought it would be easier
Hmm.
to understand, and when I jumped into it, like, "Oh, man," like, I clearly, I'm losing. I'm gonna lose if this continues, and I had to become more disciplined real quick, and, fortunately, it caught on.
Yeah, I find myself kind of switching back and forth between overestimating how complicated it is and then underestimating it, right? Um, so I'll approach something like, moving averages,
Mhm.
like looking at crosses, and my brain just flips into high gear and it's working way too hard to think, you know, 50 go over 200, 50 go under 200, And
Mhm.
it's like I'm thinking so hard about it that I forget what it means as I'm reading about it or, trying to apply it. And it takes like taking a deep breath and relaxing and remembering that broken down into the smallest parts. It's not that complicated. It's not that hard to comprehend. It requires that calm, right?
Mhm.
Um so there's that issue, but then I'll flip the other way where I'm watching a stream and I'm hearing all these different technical artifacts being thrown out and what they could mean. And like, they kind of like swirl around in my head. And I think, well, yeah, obviously, all I
Yeah,
have to
I
do
knew
is
that.
put an entry here and a stop there and it's good. And then like I go to do it and I freeze because I realize like that wasn't me thinking all those things. That was somebody else. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like confusing, someone else's thought processes and comprehension for my own. And like that's a real letdown because I realize I actually have to try harder.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big difference when you have to, force yourself to get in the zone and come up with the next move while it's happening.
Hmm.
That can be stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's a commitment, right? You have to commit your attention. And that's another thing I don't want to do a lot of the time. I want this to be like a passive hobby where I find a stock with an obvious entry,
Mhm.
obvious in quotations, and then just wait and then cash out. People can trade like that, but you still have to pay attention
Oh,
because
yeah.
the situation is evolving.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a track, just be like, "Oh, well, I already did the work, like, make it happen already. Give me the
mhm.
m give me my money."
Yeah, and
You kinda got to expect it.
yeah, and so that's an impulse that I find it very difficult to shake. And I think in a lot of ways, part of the reason I haven't done any trading in a long time is just the conflicts between, well, there's conflict with time because, I still work full time, but
Okay.
then with uh my willingness to be attentive the right amount and, have reasonable expectations, and like not be lazy. Um, there's a train of thought there, but you understand.
I
Um,
I do. I
yeah,
would say jump in. Jump
yeah,
in with 1 share. That's what I've done, and it's been,
yeah.
like, I said I would trade as often as I possibly can
Okay.
to understand what is happening because so many times I felt like, "Oh, I've got this idea, but I can't pay attention to it," or
Mhm.
whatever. So I would look to, I got an idea from Rocky, one of his videos talking about swing trading
Mm-hmm.
on a smaller time frame. He showed I believe it was like 15-second or 30-second, and I was like, "You're joking! Like that's ridiculous, man. No,
Yeah.
like that does not work that way." And he showed it live, and it worked the exact same way.
Well, like a swing trade, like not a day trade
Well, yes, but within
on a really tiny time frame.
yeah, so within a larger move intraday or whatever, he didn't like specify how you should do, but he just said how you can set these things up,
Okay.
and that like opened my eyes. Like, oh my god, I can do this all the time. I don't have to wait around 2 weeks to see if a 4 hour, what I think looks on the 4 hour is going to happen or not, and I
Oh
can
yeah.
learn really quick if I'm right or wrong. And I think after doing that over and over and over, I've starting to get a feel for like what certain patterns or trends look like
Mm-hmm.
at the start and the end. And to a reasonable degree, I can start to guess what big candle might be lurking, ahead.
Okay. Right. Yeah, so it's kind of like the experience you get. So you're collecting experience and
Yeah.
you're training yourself to recognize these things and to have like comprehension. Um I mean, that's great. That's exactly what we're encouraged to do with the drills too. Is the drills are like an even simpler way of getting experience on the charts and looking at the smallest amount of information as possible and just getting really used to that tiny amount of information and acting on it. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't know how. Oh, let's see. We have about 8 minutes left of this recording,
Okay.
so we're good to go. But yeah, um, so you went through the course. Did you get a chance to spend some time with the drills?
Yeah, I would say I'm one of those hard-headed people that you didn't do too much paper trading. I checked it out and realized, oh, I can't actually connect my broker to TradingView.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just like, I'll just trade one share and I
Okay.
over and over and over, and I'll use like bearish and bullish ETF to see if I'm wrong about this, then let me go and look at the other side and see how things look there.
Okay. So you're doing sort of your own version of drills with a real share, and you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, just over and over until you start to get a stronger comprehension. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
know
hard to
other
describe.
people.
It's all yeah, it kind of almost sounds fake. Hey, I've got the touch, I don't want to sound
Right.
it's
Well,
not like
it's
that, but it is sort of just I like memorization, but I would not know how to look for these things had I not actually taken the time to do the course the way it was intended.
Mhm. Yeah, so and that's part of that whole like deliberate practice thing. There's like a book I read recently about it and the title's not coming to mind. But yeah, deliberate practice and feedback is a huge part of that. So with those drills you're getting feedback quickly for yourself, but then you're also getting feedback in the conversations you're having in like the voice chat or in the chat rooms or whatever. Um yeah, a lot of people I've noticed are making a lot of really good progress, and it really does come down to taking the time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think after spending more time, I'm happy to find out I'm wrong because
Mhm.
I'll learn something. I'll learn why. Maybe it's a variation of what I thought. Maybe I'll be right later, or maybe I get a better entry if I
Mhm.
just wait. Um, there's a lot of learning that takes place while participating.
Could you see yourself getting back into options in the future? Because I know you were saying like you got in a lot of trouble with options and they're like tempting for you.
Yeah.
Would you get back in?
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't advise it, but I probably will
Yeah.
in the future. I'd be interested in, once I get this down further, maybe after a year or so, I would be interested in taking, trading the trend and then buying and selling options, as a protection so I get paid for my waiting and let someone else take
Right.
the risk. And if I'm out, then that's okay. I'll just buy it when it, is back at support. I'm fine with that.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, the way the chart gods intended.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yes.
think there's, I think Jamie has said that an nth number of times, and it finally clicked,
Mhm.
um, after, I got liquidated, twice. So it is, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there, but I think there's a reason why, like, so many people jump in there like myself, and then you don't hear from them again, It's it's about the same story over and over.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I had a really great experience with options the first time around because it happened to be GameStop and it happened to be right during the squeeze. And
Mhm.
that taught me all the wrong things, all the wrong
Yeah, exactly.
expectations. And so it's like you can't just win big right off the bat and then, you know, y expect to continue to win. And let me tell you, I did not
Mhm.
continue to win. Um, it
It doesn't go up all the time?
doesn't go up all the time. You can't just
Yeah.
put in a few hundred and take out a few thousand in
Yeah,
one day.
that's what I learned.
Yeah. Fun times though. Let me talk about
It
a
was
rush.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was, talking with Rocky, or he was discussing one time, recently about how I believe he said he noticed that people who win big in the beginning or have success in the beginning, uh, tend to be people who pursue it even after, potentially losing in
Mm,
between.
mhm.
Do you feel you have, sort of rode that first win on the way to where you are now? Or is it, something that you are probably gonna end up doing anyway, and you didn't let that affect you?
Okay, hold on. I need to break that question up a little bit. You're
Okay.
saying so what Rocky noticed people that win big in the beginning are people who were persistent after losing first, or people who were persistent after losing that initial win?
Um, I don't wanna botch his words, but
Okay.
those people after a win
After a win,
initially continued,
initially
right?
continued to win.
No, no, continued to trade
Oh,
later.
continue to trade.
And he was saying, I think he said, if I heard correctly, that he thinks that has, something to do with it, rather than the people who just quit. They never had a big win, and then they just quit.
Oh. Oh. So there was okay, so the people that experienced that big reward initially are more likely to go on to continue to
And
pursue
keep
trading.
trying no matter what. Yeah.
Right. Um, yes, 100% because, I had no interest really in trading and learning how to trade. I was kind of I was in kind of a desperate situation. Uh, my younger brother just told me about it, and for me, it was a gamble, and it was kinda like, "F it, I'm going all in, I have nothing to lose."
Yeah, I'm all
Right?
in.
Right? It's like, I'm probably gonna go bankrupt anyway, you know? And the payoff was so incredibly huge for me, and initially, I wanted that to be it. I wanted that to be the end, and I wanted to never trade again.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that was my plan. I had taken everything out. I put money aside for taxes, everything. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was like,
You were smart.
I was smart. But then I had never really thought about what I wanted clearly enough to take take my winnings and make a better life for myself. So I just kind of froze in place and I was like, I have money. I have a chance to get out. I have a chance to change everything and move.
Uh-huh.
And I hesitated. And then I was just kind of dissatisfied with my life again. And I sunk back and I felt like, what's the point of having all this money if I have no idea what to do with it? I don't know where I want to live. I don't know what I want to do for school. And I had options. And I went round and round in circles with different people. Like, am I going to get a place with my other brother? Am I going to stay at home with my parents? Am I going to go off and live closer to my sister in another state? And there was so much conflict there because I didn't have a choice before. And so I was so uncomfortable with having a choice for the first time that I decided what I had wasn't enough. So
I'm not
then,
looking at you. I gone through the same thing.
yes, it wasn't enough because I still felt insecure. And that makes me really sad now because I was in such a secure place. Like, I had it. I had financial security in that moment. And then I did go back in, and this was before I even found this community. So I went back in on blind faith after the January squeeze that something similar was just going to happen again. And then I would have security. So there was that huge rush and that excitement. Having money in my account for the first time and no debt, nothing, just like ready to go. I could go anywhere. I could start my life. But that deep insecurity, I don't know what I want. I don't know if I can move somewhere and also work a job that will allow me to afford that place, even with the starter money, because I was also considering going back to school. And I've always had a lot of trouble working and being in school at the same time, but that's how it's always been. So I had this really, really good situation, but I was just doubtful. So I ended up staying home and decided, why not throw it all back into GameStop? And then I went a little crazy and did some very irresponsible things. I took my tax money out of the savings account, which is,
Oh no.
like, thinking about that now, it's like, obviously you don't do that. Obviously, a stable version of me would not do that, but I was also going through a lot, so and I was
Taxes though, right?
what?
If you lose some, you pay less taxes, right?
Right? But I'd already like taken everything out of the brokerage. So it was already calculated for that amount for that year. And then I kind of held through the next year. And honestly, even then, it wasn't like my situation was suddenly bad again or like suddenly reversed. I was just figuring it out. And then I found this community, and then it was like, I want security. I also want to believe in myself. I want to see that I'm still capable of learning. You know, I've done so poorly in school, again, like working and going to school at the same time. I've lost all my study powers, all my work ethic. And I was like, well, this is great. This will cover all my insecurities. I'll show myself that I'm still capable of learning something. So I'm not just going to waste money on another semester of school, you know, just to fail out or drop out or whatever. It's like, no, I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to make this happen. So I'm going to, you know, and then I'm also going to turn this into the type of income that will allow me to be more confident in my future, in my living situation. And so that really pulled me in too. And there was just an awkward transition between being like an unreasonable gambler who, you know, had barely any kind of grasp on reality to like someone who like takes things seriously and tries to comprehend them and like takes myself seriously. And I ended up in a much worse situation. And, it's funny because I knew myself and I knew kind of what was happening. So I was trying to put in these precautions to try to protect myself from myself. So I was like, okay, I need a job where I can make more per hour because chances are, in my exuberance, I'm going to lose everything and I need to be able to pay everything back that I owe and get back in it. So, went for my Amazon job, which was very, very hard. It's a really hard job, but I mastered that. So, and now in the situation I'm in now, like, I don't have that beautiful, perfect reset that I had back in January 2021, but I have more confidence and more security in the situation I'm in now than I did then. Even though now I have debt today, but I didn't have debt then, I've just come a long way, like internally. And
That's good.
yeah,
That's really important. It sounds like you're reevaluating what you base your worth on.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Do you think you have like a more concrete goal this time, or are you sort of just winging it until you get back there and you come to the same decision?
Ha. I'm working on the concrete goal thing.
Okay.
um, I think I think the idea of being a competent trader is that concrete goal where it's like, okay, I won't have to worry about money. Like I won't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not living with my parents anymore. I'm out and I'm not going back. And that I'm sure of this time. Like the first time, I wasn't sure. I wasn't convinced it would be so much better for me, and it is. It's so much better. But I didn't know, and I wasn't. It was just so much insecurity. So sure, okay, concrete. I definitely don't want to go backwards, and I'm gonna be, uh, I'm gonna be in a place where I just don't have to worry, and I do have interests, and I have a lot of interests, and like if I didn't have to worry about money at all, I could go to massage school like one of my sisters did, and because that's like one of those really helpful vocations where there's pretty good money in it. It's a really good skill to have, and I could do that for a few years and still not have to worry about money, and if I wanted to do something else I could. So really, I think it's not just insecurity versus security, but it's also that desire for freedom. And like, I want to be able to move around and change what I do and like decide kind of in the moment. And I think that's what really draws me into trading, because it's like, if this can always be a way to make money and I don't have to work for anyone particular, then I can always find freedom in my life.
Mm-hmm. It sounds comfy. It's good to think of that now before you get to that place again. I can definitely relate to
Yeah.
everything you said. It's
Mhm.
interesting how a lot of the same, all different people that we're doing this, but a lot of similar or relatable stories coming from
Yeah.
different parts of the world, different ages, but all kind of the same type of situation, type of people showing up for this same goal. It's really interesting how that draws. It's a interesting, fly trap or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
um,
It seems like
Creative, freedom loving people. We're very spirited. We need structure, but we also want freedom.
yes, you want the structure to be there, but when you feel like it.
Yes, we feel like
I
yes.
want to come and take it or leave it when I'm ready. Otherwise, I'll just go do whatever. Yeah, I completely agree. It's interesting though. After I went through many of the same things that you did.
Oh, yeah.
Having to win, uh, having no reason to continue, but thinking, well, what do I do now? Well, I might as well just do the same thing. If
Yes.
even I didn't have a goal in mind, and it led to going back to what was comfortable, even though I didn't really intend it. If
Mhm.
no reason to change, why would I?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really learned from that experience. I don't want to value myself in the pursuit of what I can acquire, but instead of in what I can do.
Yeah.
If it is a dollar amount, if I'm going to be ecstatic about a dollar amount, anyone with more can come replace me.
That's
And
true.
that's not important to those I care about.
Mhm.
And it wasn't before, right? Like I didn't care about them because of the opportunity cost of work. I'm going to make money.
Right.
Oh, my family's going to make me money. Yeah, I'm not, so, and I don't think people are really like that. But when the opportunity comes, it's like, you kind of like, oh, well, then I have to have it because now I can get it. I don't know. That's how it affected me. And I feel like, after going through that, like a win and then a loss, you know, I really don't. The pursuit of the money is not important to me. I just want to be good at this. I
Mhm.
really relate to you saying like, show yourself you can learn something new and
Mhm.
something so difficult that where everyone else fails. It is alluring to say, "Hey, I made
Yeah.
it." I don't want to go on and say, "Oh, like I'm better because I'm successful so far." It's not about that. It's about for myself, but for yourself, I'm sure you feel the same. It's uh,
Mhm.
it's interesting how now that I know I can get it, I really don't care.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really it doesn't matter, and I've learned to. I'm probably never going to value my own self worth in those regards. It'd be more of a my participation in helping others or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a saint, but the pursuit of what is good, it was made a lot clearer to me after having the opportunity to do anything
Mhm.
and then realizing, oh, well, like I'm still the person who wasn't really trying to do it even when I didn't have it. So why would I start now? I
Mm.
think you said, then I can start." It sounds like you're starting already. It sounds, you
Yeah.
are already making that change.
Mhm. Yeah. I find it interesting how so many of these people in this community where it's really not just this um selfish goal of becoming someone known for having a lot of money. A lot of people in this community in particular really want to build more.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
not just for
absolutely.
themselves, but for the community in general. And that's amazing. It's really something I love about this community.
Oh yeah, you can tell. When I've spoken to others, online or in person before I decided to stop mentioning what I'm doing. He's like, um, I see this similar situation play out where someone like finds out what's possible, or they think this is an opportunity, and they immediately want to sell it. Like they
Mhm.
want to make like a YouTube channel, or they want to make like a funnel to get like affiliate links for something and sell it. Sell whatever they
Mhm.
can, take someone else's work, or anything that they can that they found works to any degree, and then make a YouTube channel or some sort of like alert notification thing. And it's like, but why? Like you're not the thing.
Right.
Why are you going to sell it? Just be it. I don't know. It's a weird thing how money like makes, but just like it leaves a lot of opportunity for people to like behave like uncouth.
Uncouth, yes.
Yeah.
Money makes people very uncouth.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's interesting too. a lot of people are raised to be very skeptical of money and having money, but
Uh-huh.
at the same time are pushed to make as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, be better, but
Yes,
it's dirty.
but it's dirty. So there's some conflicting sentiment in the culture for sure. And I find another thing that I've been working on is developing that really healthy relationship with money. Like, this is a tool. This is a tool that can be used for good. Um, it, you know, it's just putting things in their proper place, and it can
Yeah.
be a really positive thing, and like removing the fear of both having money and not having money.
Yeah, it's, I think it was supposed to be like a store of our labor.
Right?
Now we don't do the same type of work, so maybe it's easy to, like, disrespect it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna I'm not gonna love it, but they gotta respect it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then of course, with the U.S. currency, it it inflates every single year, so it's difficult to appreciate the value of it when the
Yeah.
value is disappearing year after year. That's another reason to trade, though, or at least invest, because the value does disappear.
Yeah. That idea has definitely, like, oh, well, like, I think it's easy to be like, at least for me in the past, an easy glance at things that I don't really understand the mechanics of, like, oh, well, things are more expensive. It's always going to be more expensive. It's like a scam. And then so
Hmm.
I don't participate. But
Right?
a lack of participation is why you're like you're holding yourself back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Only bad people do money things, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like,
exactly.
oh, yeah. So we're just gonna allow that to be the case?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no.
You work really hard, but you're never gonna have a ton of money. And if you do, then you got lucky.
Right,
It, it doesn't. It's not that way all the time. It doesn't have to be.
right. So, do you see yourself though, like, like building up a big account and then like, if you had a dream project to work on, do you have like those fantasies about building hospitals, building schools, anything in particular?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely. I think with the trading, after a certain point, I'm gonna continue. I enjoy it. It's like a little investigation into what do
Hmm.
I think I see, like a little puzzle, and I'm trying to learn different tools and eventually learn some of the math side too, and put it all together. But eventually, I would like to use that as sort of like a base of no one can tell me that I can't try something. And
Hmm.
when you go around the old neighborhood, and you see, things falling apart, or,
Hmm.
these opportunities are not there, and now the people are gone because there's no opportunities.
Hmm.
I would love to participate in that. And I used to do that with like advertising, marketing, and it was like really just a bunch of like personal relationships that you're developing, but it started through business.
Okay.
Um, I think the pursuit of like local mattering, if I can help out my local area in whatever way, I would definitely be interested in that. That is a goal. It sounds like made up because I don't have specifics, but
I think I
but
understand just the general idea of being a positive force in your community where you can kind of communicate between people and like make the positive things happen in the community, encourage that kind of thing.
yeah,
So if you have people that have small businesses but they're all disconnected, you can help bring them together or something, or like bring in more talented people. It's kind of like finding the smartest people in society and like almost funding them and like making it happen.
Yeah,
That type of thing.
with enough money, you would have I would have enough freedom to pursue that kind of thing outside of, oh well, I need to go to work today.
Mhm. Mhm.
That would be my ultimate goal. Um, and I think if you can be a really good manager, I think that is like a true manager. I think that is
Right.
like a worthwhile pursuit. Like a steward
I
is a better word.
agree with, like, real leadership skills, like, real.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
pursuit of that is what I'm interested in.
I respect that. Like,
Yeah.
that's really we need that in our society, people tend to compete for positions of power, but they don't have real leadership skills or real management skills.
Yeah. I don't wanna, like, just finesse people, I wanna help.
Yeah, yeah.
A silver tongue would be nice, but that's not gonna cut it, you know?
No,
That's
right.
not helping anybody.
Mm-mm. All right, so let's bring this back around to what brought, I guess, both of us here is GameStop.
Yeah.
And it seems to be doing well recently. Uh, I mean, I've taken a step back because, again, it was both the thing that got me into this, but it was also a source of a lot of bad habits.
Uh-huh.
And, I've been trying to be more responsible, but like I keep an eye on it. I don't know. Are you still trading it? Are you still in?
No, the last
Okay.
time I touched GameStop was in, 2021.
Okay.
It was sort of like a, yeah, bittersweet kinda thing, like, I'm done. I'm I'm done with it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, there's gotta be more opportunities,
Right.
um, and, yeah, happy for everybody's in, I hope,
Mhm.
anyone's still holding, oh my god, like, you have,
Yes.
patience of a saint, dear god, that's insane. Um, I'm glad it's doing better, and I hope people, make some good trades off of it. I am not particularly interested in GameStop, though.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of it, I said this recently in one of the talks we had with people going through the course. Now that I feel like I have a better understanding of looking for the way things are set up, I would like to take some larger, longer term trades and maybe
Mhm.
try and enjoy myself a little more.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, I feel like we covered a lot today.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fun.
yeah, it was a really good talk, and um, yeah, when you're ready to tell everybody that you trade, we'll do a face reveal. Unmask.
My next goal is the 2 year mark.
2 year? Okay.
Yeah,
2 year mark for
so making profit and
okay,
not losing.
and not losing. Yeah,
Yeah,
great. I think that's very noble and good, and you're gonna crush it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think I'll just wrap it up here. These Zoom meetings give us a little more time than I thought. It was like closer to 30 minutes. So yeah. You feel good about this? I feel good about this. I feel like we had a really good conversation. It went really well.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I appreciate uh, giving me the opportunity to share.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are you gonna do with the rest of the day?
I think I got some yard work to do. I got to plant some flowers and cut some weeds, and
Nice.
then I'm going to be looking at some EV companies
Okay.
and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. What kind of flowers?
The angel trumpet plant,
Okay.
the big hanging ones. It's like big hanging flower.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a tropical plant, and birds of paradise. I'm in
Ooh.
I'm in the southern United States, and it's summer here,
Okay.
so uh, taking care of tropical plants while they can, I would get them real big and huge. And the goal with that is I want to start trying to grow my own food later on, but I want to start with flowers, something less risky.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more of that creativity that just draws people into this community. People growing their own food, doing stuff like, all right, let's learn how to trade. Let's build something. Yes.
Yeah, way more fun to do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, you have a great rest of the day,
All
and
right.
I'll see you next time.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.